ready to ride. Goddamn Camaro. Driving this mother. Third gear, fourth gear. Alright, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to do a little short video talking about the impressions and kind of a review of the Solar Performance ported throttle body. Okay, as most of you know that watch the video, I do have a Solar Performance ported stock throttle body. Now the throttle body has been ported out to, I believe it's 91mm effective. They changed a lot of things. There's a lot of engineering. If you're interested in that, go check out the video that I have on installing the throttle body itself and comparing it to the stock one. Also have a link to their website, and they have a technical page that you can go view all the good stuff. So on to the driving review of this throttle body. The driving experience has been much improved with this throttle body. Just taking off just like that. That was really kind of hard to do with the factory throttle body. And people that have a manual transmission ZL1, or even I would suppose in the SS Camaro that has the manual transmission like a 1LE or just a manual transmission SS, that has the same throttle body. It's a characteristic of the big lip on the inside of the bore of the throttle body that produces a dead spot right off of idle. So when you are used to driving a manual and kind of blipping the throttle to take off, kind of like that, you get into a dead spot right past idle, and the car would almost fall on its face for a second, then pick back up. Very annoying. So with this throttle body from Solar Performance, it's went all away with that. That's totally gone. There is no dead spot right off the idle. The throttle input is much more linear now. Like, it's, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's almost like it used to kick in like VTEC almost. Like you'd be steady on the throttle going down, and then all of a sudden it hit a spot where it would start to pull. Well, now it's almost like that from the beginning. You get a more linear feeling. It feels less like drive-by-wire now than what it did before. I guess that's a good way to put it. Alright, so apart from the biggest difference, which is right off idle to about 30 or 40% throttle, the smoothness of that being so much different, it feels like it's got, you know, a little bit more get up and go in the lower end to mid-range, you know, area. Part throttle feels like it is pulling a lot more than what part throttle did before. And also, before the factory throttle body, if let's say I was doing 60 and I pulled up there's a good mountain up here, and when it would start going close to 0 on the boost gauge and over into boost from vacuum, right around that point it would start feeling, I don't know, jerky. It would feel kind of jerky inside the car, and I don't really get that feeling anymore. And it would get worse as you progressively added a little bit more throttle and got on to boost. And I know you're not supposed to be lugging it, you know, under boost, but at 60 miles an hour, you've got plenty enough RPM that the engine shouldn't be doing that. And what I contribute that to is turbulence behind the throttle blade itself. Part of what Solar Performance does when they're looking at this throttle body is they flow bench it, and they actually look at the flow characteristics of the air going through the orifice being the throttle body itself. So they look at how the air swirls behind it, and that's part of their design, of where they don't just port out the throttle body and help do away with the lip, but they also take and the notches they make into the throttle body itself. And if you look at my other videos, see what I'm saying, and then there's corresponding notches in the blade, the throttle blade, when they change the throttle blade, that they smooth the flow out in such a way that it's not real turbulent behind the throttle body, which equals better throttle response, a more linear throttle feel, and more power in the end. Now, there's people that's commented on the other one, you ain't got dyno results and it's a worthless mod, it ain't worth no money. Well, hell, it was worth enough money just to get the dead spot out of the throttle for me. Not to mention any kind of power gain whatsoever. But the fact that it does feel more peppy off of idle and in the lower ranges, and the way that they poured the throttle body out, and now the throttle blade and everything, it's an effective 91 millimeter opening from 87 millimeter. That increased the size of the orifice, so it can't help but gain a little bit of power. Now, is it going to gain 40 horsepower at wide open throttle? I doubt it. Maybe in some parts of the power curve it may, but then again, I'm not rich, so I don't have a whole bunch of money to just spend a day on the dyno going back and forth. I don't have the tool to do a throttle body relearn and idle relearn on the car, so I have to do it, you know, the old school cheap way of just driving the car around and giving it time to idle and stop and go and all that stuff, so to learn the new throttle body and the characteristics, the airflow that it's getting now. So I don't have that kind of time and money to spend on the dyno. Sorry guys, but I can tell you what it feels like at wide open throttle. It's negligible. Like, I feel like in my mind that there's no way that it didn't gain some kind of power, but do I feel like it gained a bunch of power? No, and it would be ridiculous for me to believe that, you know, porting out a stock throttle body would gain a whole bunch of power, but it does help. Ooh, she's whining like a banshee. And yeah, I was going up a mountain, so it's not like I got up to 90 miles an hour or something. So my thoughts in closing on the Solar Performance throttle body, I haven't really tried many other throttle bodies, but I have read online that other throttle bodies that people have had ported don't really get rid of the dead spot completely. Now, if you drove like a grandpa and you never, you know, blip the throttle when taking off, and you always just barely tried to keep it at idle, and you drove it like an old pickup truck, then, you know, maybe that wasn't so much of an issue for you. But I never really liked, I don't know, slipping the clutch for 10 seconds at a time and taking off like Peepaw in his pickup truck. I just like blipping the throttle 2 or 3 times and progressively letting out on the clutch, and the car just kind of takes itself off. And in this car, that was almost impossible to do with the stock throttle body, and now it's not so bad. So on the side note of that, the power increase from right off of idle, you know, through mid-range throttle is great. It does, and you know, like I said, it didn't gain 40-50 horsepower, but you could definitely tell that there's a difference over what it was stock. I drove it for, you know, a few weeks stock, and then I put this throttle body on, I took it easy, and then I've been driving it now for, you know, a week or two with this throttle body after it's learned itself. But it feels great. Love this thing. Shout out to Solar Performance for an awesome product. Again, go check out the video. This thing, not only is it a great throttle body, it is also a work of art. Get a little start off here. I mean, before doing that right there, when I would try to do that, it would kind of fall on its face a little bit, and it's embarrassing when you're in a parking lot and it does that, because, you know, with the car being what it is, a lot of people are looking at it when you come through the parking lot, and then you looking like a rookie, can't drive a manual transmission. Ooh, rev match. All right, so thanks everybody for watching. There's a lot of people that was interested in hearing my thoughts on the throttle body and how it acted in the car, how it drove in the car, how it idles, and what I thought about it. So those are my thoughts. Thanks everybody for watching. There'll be more videos to come. As always, make sure you hit the bell if you want to see my videos. That little subscription bell down there, you got to hit it. or it's not going to let you know when I post new videos, and then we're all going to cry about it. So make sure you got that hit up. Share these videos with your friends and stuff you think they're interested. Check out Solar Performance's website. They make awesome products. Thanks for watching, you guys.